Addy here. I'm making this kind of impromptu video. It's been weighing on my mind a lot ever since I started doing kind of market research for starting my Pokemon channel back up and really diving into it, along with all the scalping and everything going on. I've been really kind of disappointed in the community and in multiple of the communities, but both on YouTube, TikTok, and other platforms when it comes to Pokemon collecting. And I understand that everyone can get into their own interests and hobbies for their own reasons and for their own motivations and to do it for whatever makes them happy in the way that makes them happy. But compared to just like 5 years ago when I was hardcore into collecting again, the emphasis these days on the monetary value and resale value of cards is so much higher than I have ever seen it. And I really think that culture change that I seem to have missed the boat on is heavily contributing to all of the scalping and everything else going on with Pokemon cards. Now, I do realize basically every consumer good on the planet in 2020 and 2021 is being scalped to hell and back for some reason. I can't entirely tell you why. I think it's compounding stock shortages due to COVID, people being stuck at home and wanting to get into hobbies and things like that, or also people stuck at home and wanting to make more money for themselves since they don't have jobs or whatever, and spending that time buying and reselling online. Like, I've seen a big boom for that kind of culture as well. But basically every TikTok I scroll through on Pokemon TikTok, every YouTube video, even from the big names of people who I support and appreciate their content, and I know that they're good-hearted and doing the right thing, but everyone is talking about the value of cards. How much they can get PSA graded. It's all about the PSA 10 graded Charizards. And I see so many TikToks and videos of people with hundreds of Charizards, either graded or ungraded, from base set, on top of all the new Charizards and everything like that. And it's cool to talk about that. And even back when I was into the collecting channels, like every once in a while we would talk about, and the big channels would talk about, like the insane value of the base set and the rocket packs, you know, the original Wizard of the Coast sets, getting those booster boxes and stuff. It was always a pipe dream. And I feel like, and this is totally going to sound like immature, I guess, but I feel like we had a bunch of rich people, probably due to the Logan Paul promotion, kind of take note of and look at Pokemon more seriously, jump in, and are now kind of ruining it for the rest of us. There's so many channels starting up that have suddenly millions of dollars to invest in these collections and are just outdoing everybody. And the big concern, I guess, that kind of eats me up at night as well, is they're buying up all the, like, we have a very limited supply of base sets and fossils and rockets and all first editions and all of that. There's a very limited supply of it in the first place. It was already very inaccessible, and it just keeps scaling in terms of inaccessibility. And again, everyone can get into stuff for the reasons and the ways that they want, but it's really concerning because people like me, and I know there's plenty of collectors out there that are like me, but I'm in it to collect for me, for the nostalgia, for going back to something that I wanted when I was a kid that we couldn't afford a ton of, couldn't justify a ton of, and really kind of getting my hands in on the stuff I wanted as a kid, which I would have been very satisfied with XY Evolutions, which I apparently opened 2 packs of before I had to stop collecting for a little bit, and now it's just as inaccessible as base set almost. And it's just like, everyone talks about the resale value of every individual holo they get. Like every opening video I see these days lists the PSA graded price for every single card. Is that how everyone collects these days? Is the focus of collecting just how much money you can make back? Because that just doesn't make sense to me. I have virtually never sold a card before, outside of like when I was a kid and traded a bunch of stupid ones away. Like, it's been a pipe dream of mine that my collecting habits would result in enough duplicates and things like that I could sell them off, and it becomes a kind of self-funding cycle. And I guess a lot of people who had the upfront cost and actually reach that point can do that. But overall, if I find something super rare that's worth a lot of money, unless it's worth, you know, life-changing amounts of money, I just want it in my collection because that's what I'm collecting for. That's what's cool. And I feel, and again, I understand that the appeal of the big numbers and stuff is really enticing and interesting for different reasons, but I feel like the heavy focus on those numbers kind of has devalued the collecting aspect and just kind of told everyone that this is why we're collecting, and this is why so much scalping is going on, because everyone's focused on how much they can get for it, how much they can flip for it, how much the individual cards are worth. You know, You have like an elite trainer box or a booster box that has a value, and then each individual pack has a value that's way higher than it should be, and then the individual cards have a value that's way higher than it should be. And I'm over here having just paid $300 for a single, I believe, jungle pack that's probably way too resealed and not going to be worth my money at all, but just so I can have the opportunity to open it again. And this isn't meant to be like, oh, poor me, I'm poor and can't afford it anymore. I'm finally in a financial place to actually run this channel, which is why I'm so stoked to get back into it. So that's not necessarily the thing, although I don't have the kind of money to open, thousands of dollars of packs every video by any stretch. But it's just such a strange culture shock that I'm kind of coming into when the channels that I watched and the channels that were around just a few years ago focusing on this weren't all about that. And maybe that's the new wave, that's the new generation of it, that's the new sustainability for it is focusing on that. But it's really disheartening and disappointing to come back to a scene that I have loved and cherished and been a part of multiple times over the past couple decades now, I guess. And the focus is just on like what feels greedy and slimy and kind of taking advantage of everyone else who just wants cool cards and to collect for themselves. Like even the McDonald's stuff is getting ruined and the Cinnamon Toast Crunch stuff. Like everyone is, it's just all getting ruined. And again, we're at this weird point where demand is so high just in general that I don't know how much is offset by each other. But I want to get the conversation going, and I want to hear what you have to say in the comment section down below as well about how this culture might impact the future of collecting and the future of being able to access some of this older stuff. Like I kind of believe everyone who truly enjoys collecting this kind of stuff should have the opportunity to go open an old Team Rocket booster or gym collection booster or what have you. And it's getting less and less likely that will ever be realistic anymore. Like, I'm still holding out hope that I'll find at a neighborhood yard sale or a family relative that forgot I liked Pokemon or something, that'll find a bunch of old sealed stuff or even just preserved already open stuff, cards in general, that I can add to my collection just so I can add it to my collection and have an accessible, a door open that I can reach into and utilize, because otherwise I'm not paying $400,000 for a booster box. That's insane. I would have to sell it if I had one of those, because that I could buy a whole house, a whole nother house for myself and a whole house for my family or something. Like, that's insane. And it's just, I don't know. I genuinely, the whole purpose of this video is to have a conversation going. I am currently very disappointed in the Pokemon scene as of right now. And I want to know what you all have to say about it and what you think the culture will lead to, or what potential problems we may have or face in the future as a result of it. Let me know in the comment section down below. I know this was completely off video, but I wanted to get this going because I jumped into this feat first, and then as I explore the TikTok and the YouTube scene and everything, it's just dollar signs everywhere. And given how hard it is to even spend dollar signs to actually acquire the product at the moment, even basic stuff to celebrate the 25th anniversary, it's just disappointing. I'm Addy from Holo Quest. We'll have more openings in future videos. This will be uploaded on a not normal slot just to cover, uploads here. But thank you. I'll see you next time.